Treatment and prevention of bladder carcinoma. The most important bladder carcinoma is transitional cell or the urothelial carcinoma, which arises from the inner lining of the bladder. In the initial stage, it is successfully curable, but along with this, it has more chances of recurrences. So after the initial successful treatment, the follow-up diagnostic procedure and tests must be performed after 6 months and later on after 1 year. Now when the grading of the carcinoma fall in the last stage, that is metastatic stage, which is very fatal and crucial one, then the various procedures, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and also intravesical liquid chemotherapy, they are also performed to kill the cancer cell in the bladder. When these processes fails to control or to eradicate and kill the cancer cells, then surgical manipulations or the techniques are employed. Transurethral resection of bladder tumor through the cystoscope, electrical wire, and the laser procedures, they are guided into the bladder cavity and kill or burn away the initial grade of the or stage of the carcinoma, which is called as carcinoma in situ. This procedure can be successfully done, but when the carcinoma has invaded all the layers of the bladder and has entered and attacked the pelvic organs and produces species or a metastasis that travel through the blood and lymphatic stream into the body and to the various distant organs like bone, liver, lungs, brain, etc. Then the surgeon performed radical cystectomy, that is, all the bladder along with prostate, seminal vesicles, vas deferens, and along with the lymphatic channels and vessels and lymph nodes, they are also excised by the surgical procedure. The surgical procedure is through incision in the lower abdominal, in the pubic area, or there is a robotic surgery in which the surgeon by his skilled hand passes various instruments and the camera fitted light through the holes These are called as keyholes to visualize the interior of the bladder for the proper excision and the surgical excision of the bladder and the other lymph nodes and the other organ like prostate one. When the whole of the bladder has been cut off by surgery, then new bladder construction is done. The ureters are connected with a part of the intestine, and stoma is produced, which passes the urine outside the body through the abdominal wall to the exterior in the bag. So this is a shortcut for the drainage of the urine produced by the kidneys. Another procedure in which surgeon connect the ureter with a large part of intestine to form a mini bladder, and this bladder is then connected with the urethra, so almost a natural pathway is maintained that the urine passes from the mini bladder reconstructed by the surgeon by the part of the intestine and then passes through the urethra to the exterior. So these are the various procedures which are used nowadays for reconstruction of the bladder and also to remove the cancerous bladder. As far as the preventive measures are adopted, the foremost preventive measure is quitting the tobacco smoking, which is the major cause of the lung carcinoma and the bladder carcinoma, because it consists of countless chemicals which produces cancerous changes in the bladder epithelium. Moreover, persistent exposure to the infection in the bladder, that is cystitis, that may ultimately produce cancerous changes. Also, we should treat the vesical stones, which after a long time, after years, that may cause damage to the DNA of the normal transitional cells in the bladder, and they convert them into the cancerous DNA. So these are the various preventive measures. Moreover, we should change the lifestyle, regular exercise for 30 minutes, fresh veggies and red fruits, avoid the cholesterol diet, and also manage the psychological complexes to be avoided to reduce the depression, anxiety, frustration. Take plenty of water for the washing of the bladder and to remove the waste of the body through the bladder outside. So these are the various steps and preventive measures to avoid the carcinoma of the bladder.